Before the 1960s, Pattaya was not the famous city we know today. It was a very quiet and small fishing village on the eastern coast of Thailand. Life here was simple and moved at a slow pace. The local people were mainly fishermen and farmers. They would go out to sea in their small wooden boats every day to catch fish, crabs, and other seafood. Their families would then sell the fresh catch at the local market or use it to cook their daily meals. The sound of the waves and the chatter of local vendors were the loudest noises in this peaceful community. Life was deeply connected to the sea and the rhythm of nature, a world away from bustling city life. The beaches of Pattaya were pristine and largely untouched by development. Long stretches of white sand met the clear blue waters of the Gulf of Thailand. Coconut trees lined the shore, providing shade from the hot sun. There were no large hotels, shopping malls, or busy roads. Instead, small wooden houses on stilts were scattered along the coast. Families lived simple lives, and everyone in the village knew each other. Children played freely on the sand, and the community was close-knit. This idyllic setting was a hidden gem, known only to a few locals and those from nearby towns who sought a quiet escape from their daily routines. The economy of the village was based almost entirely on fishing and small-scale agriculture. There was no tourism industry to speak of. The concept of foreign visitors was completely unknown to the residents of Pattaya. The main road was a dusty, unpaved track, and transportation was limited to bicycles or walking. The village had a small local temple, a school, and a market, which were the centers of community life. The days were dictated by the sun and the tides, not by schedules or deadlines. It was a tranquil existence where the traditions of generations were passed down without outside influence, a stark contrast to the global destination it would soon become. In this pre-tourism era, Pattaya was a perfect example of traditional Thai coastal life. The environment was clean, the community was strong, and the pace of life was relaxed. The local culture was preserved and celebrated through festivals and daily customs. The people were content with their way of life, unaware that their small village was on the brink of a massive transformation. This quiet fishing village, with its beautiful natural scenery and simple charm, was the foundation upon which the future global tourist hub would be built. The seeds of change were about to be sown by events happening far away from this peaceful shore. The transformation of Pattaya from a quiet village to a tourist destination began unexpectedly during the Vietnam War. In the 1960s, Thailand became a key ally for the United States. American military bases were established in the country, including the Utapao airfield, which was not far from Pattaya. American soldiers who were serving in Vietnam needed a place to rest and relax during their leave, or R&R as they called it. Someone suggested the beautiful and quiet beaches of Pattaya. In 1959, the first group of American GIs arrived, looking for a temporary escape from the stresses of war. They were the very first foreign visitors to discover this coastal paradise. The arrival of these American soldiers marked a turning point for the small fishing village. The local people, who had never seen so many foreigners before, quickly realized there was an opportunity to earn money. They started to offer simple services to the soldiers. Small guest houses and bungalows were built to provide accommodation. Local women began opening small food stalls and restaurants, serving both Thai food and simple Western dishes to cater to the new visitors. The fishermen started offering boat trips for sightseeing and fishing. This was the birth of Pattaya's tourism industry, a change driven not by a government plan but by circumstance and local enterprise. As more and more soldiers came for their R&R, the village began to change rapidly. The demand for entertainment grew, and soon, small bars and music clubs started to appear along the beachfront. These establishments offered a place for the soldiers to drink, listen to music, and socialize. This laid the foundation for Pattaya's famous nightlife, which would become a major draw for future tourists. The local economy shifted from being solely dependent on fishing to a new, more lucrative model based on serving the needs of these temporary visitors. The quiet village was slowly but surely becoming a bustling resort town. By the end of the Vietnam War in 1975, Pattaya was no longer the sleepy fishing village it once was. It had become a well-known destination for American military personnel. Even after the soldiers left, the word was out. Pattaya had been discovered by the outside world. The infrastructure that had been built to serve the GIs, such as the guest houses, restaurants and bars, remained. This accidental beginning had set the stage for the next phase of Pattaya's evolution. The city was now ready to welcome a new wave of visitors, international tourists, who were looking for sun, sea and entertainment on the shores of Thailand. The period from the 1970s to the 1990s was a time of explosive growth for Pattaya. With the end of the Vietnam War, the city's reputation as a beach resort spread beyond military circles. European and other international tourists began to arrive, drawn by stories of beautiful beaches and affordable prices. This new wave of visitors fueled a massive construction boom. The small bungalows and guest houses of the past were rapidly replaced by large multi-story hotels. High-rise condominiums began to dot the skyline, changing the landscape of the city forever. The dusty tracks were paved over to become wide, busy roads to handle the increasing traffic. This rapid development transformed Pattaya's economy and social structure. Tourism became the dominant industry, overtaking fishing and agriculture completely. Thousands of people from other parts of Thailand, especially the poorer northeastern region of Isan, moved to Pattaya in search of jobs in hotels, restaurants, bars and construction. The city became a melting pot of different cultures and people, all drawn by the promise of economic opportunity. This influx of workers and tourists led to the expansion of the city, with new neighborhoods and commercial areas springing up to meet the growing demand. During these boom years, Pattaya's identity as an entertainment and nightlife hub solidified. The small bars that were established during the Vietnam War era grew into a massive entertainment industry. Areas like Walking Street became famous worldwide for their go-go bars, nightclubs and vibrant non-stop atmosphere. This reputation for adult entertainment attracted a specific type of tourist and became a defining feature of the city. While the beaches were still a major attraction, it was the nightlife that gave Pattaya its unique and sometimes controversial image on the global stage. This focus on entertainment brought immense wealth to the city, but also created new social challenges. The uncontrolled growth during this period also brought significant problems. The rapid construction often happened without proper planning, leading to environmental issues. The city's infrastructure, such as sewage and waste management systems, struggled to keep up with the fast-growing population. The beautiful, clear waters that first attracted visitors began to suffer from pollution. By the late 1990s, it became clear that this model of development was not sustainable. The city authorities and business owners started to realize that if Pattaya wanted to continue to thrive, it needed to change its direction and address these growing environmental and social concerns. Beginning in the 2000s, Pattaya embarked on a major effort to change its image and attract a wider range of visitors. City officials and tourism businesses realized that relying only on nightlife and adult entertainment was really limiting the city's potential. They wanted to make Pattaya a more family-friendly destination and appeal to tourists from different markets, such as those from Asia and the Middle East. This led to a strategy of diversification. The city began to promote its other attractions, including water sports, cultural sites and shopping. The goal was to show the world that Pattaya had more to offer than just its famous nightlife. A key part of this transformation was the development of new world-class attractions designed for families and general tourists. Large modern shopping malls like Central Festival Pattaya Beach were built, offering international brands, cinemas, and fine dining restaurants. Numerous theme parks and water parks, such as Cartoon Network Amazon and Ramayana Water Park, opened their doors, providing entertainment for all ages. Cultural attractions like the Sanctuary of Truth, a magnificent wooden temple, and Nong Nook's tropical garden, with its beautiful landscapes and cultural shows, were heavily promoted. These new additions really helped to create a more balanced and diverse tourism experience. The city also invested heavily in improving its infrastructure and environment. Major beach restoration projects were undertaken to clean up the coastline and widen the sand on Pattaya Beach. This made the beachfront more attractive for sunbathing, swimming and relaxing. Efforts were made to improve water quality and waste management systems to address the pollution problems from the past decades. The city's public spaces were upgraded, and new transportation options were introduced to make it easier for tourists to get around. These improvements were crucial in making Pattaya a more pleasant and appealing destination for a broader audience, including high-end travelers and MICE visitors. As a result of these efforts, Pattaya's visitor demographics began to change significantly. While the nightlife scene remained important, it was no longer the only draw. More families, couples, and tour groups from countries like China, Russia, and India started to visit. The city successfully positioned itself as a comprehensive resort destination with something for everyone. This shift really helped to create a more stable and resilient tourism industry. By the late 2010s, Pattaya had evolved into a modern, dynamic city that could cater to the varied tastes of millions of global tourists each year, moving far beyond its old, one-dimensional reputation. Just as Pattaya was enjoying its success as a diversified global destination, it faced its biggest challenge yet, the COVID-19 pandemic. Starting in 2020, international travel came to a sudden halt. With borders closed and flights grounded, the flow of foreign tourists to Pattaya stopped completely. The city, which was so heavily dependent on tourism, was hit incredibly hard. Hotels, restaurants, bars, and shops were forced to close. The once bustling streets became eerily quiet. Tens of thousands of people lost their jobs, and the city's economy faced an unprecedented crisis. The pandemic exposed the vulnerability of relying so heavily on international tourism. The crisis, however, also provided an opportunity for reflection and a push toward new ideas. With foreign tourists gone, Pattaya had to turn its focus to the domestic market. The city launched campaigns to attract Thai tourists, promoting its beautiful beaches, seafood restaurants, and family-friendly attractions at discounted prices. This shift helped some businesses to survive and reminded the city of the importance of local tourism. The pandemic also accelerated conversations about the need for a more sustainable and resilient tourism model. Planners and business owners began to think about how to create a future for Pattaya that was less dependent on mass tourism and more focused on quality and sustainability. Looking to the future, Pattaya is now exploring new directions for its development. There is a growing emphasis on Neo-Pattaya, a concept that aims to transform the city into a hub for wellness, sports tourism, and high-tech industries. The government's Eastern Economic Corridor project, a massive development plan for the region, includes plans to upgrade infrastructure, build high-speed rail links, and attract new investments to the area. This strategy aims to create a more balanced economy, with new job opportunities outside of the traditional tourism sector. The goal is to make Pattaya a more livable city for its residents and a more sustainable destination for visitors. Pattaya's journey is a remarkable story of adaptation and change. From a quiet fishing village to a rest stop for soldiers, from a booming nightlife hub to a diversified family resort, the city has constantly reinvented itself. The challenges of the past few years have forced it to evolve once again. As Pattaya moves forward, it carries the lessons from its past. The city's ability to adapt and embrace new ideas will be key to its future success. By balancing economic growth with environmental protection and social well-being, Pattaya has the potential to continue its transformation and shine as a leading global destination for many years to come, proving its incredible resilience.